Alright, we're going to set up for Physics of Aviation, Physics 1250 class. This experiment is called a Venturi. It's the first time wind tunnel. So we've got the wind tunnels up here. We're going to put a pitot tube in there and have a fan sucking air through and just measure airspeed at different available volumes of the wind tunnel. And the Venturi needs the pitot tube setup, so we're going to use the stand, and I should have gotten out the board, cardboard, and then we're also going to use a short rod and a right angle and clamp, finger clamp. So let's get all this ready here. I'm going to turn this system around because we're actually going to use the massive weight of this stand to help hold part of the system. So I'm going to lower these so that this is touching the ground. We might raise them up in a little bit when we get to that point. Actually, I'm sorry. We need to start by raising them. I forgot. Because we're going to slide a piece of metal under these just right there. So I'm going to leave a little bit of room. And now we want to set in our post. Short post, that is. We don't know exactly what height yet, but it's somewhere around here, so we're just going to set this clamp in here like this, the finger clamp. And this part right here should be lined up with the front of these, because that's where, that's a problem. We might have to try a different clamp. We'll see if this works. We're just going to put it about right there. And now we need to get out some equipment here. Now there's two types of fan motors in here. The newer one, which has the white base, uses the power supply down here. So I'll go ahead and get that one out. And what we're going to do is set these up on this station, station number 34, and then the other one on station 32. These will be used for a different experiment with the wind tunnels. We look at streamlining. No, actually, that's not for streamlining. That's for well, it's all the different shapes. So we're looking at streamlining. I'm sorry, lift and drag was the other one that I was thinking of. So here's the new motor, and that's going to go with that power supply. This is the older power supply. Put that there. It's very heavy. Be careful with it. And then here I have the motor assembly on a stand. Hello, testing. Don't know if I just lost the volume. Let's try to, okay, I think I still have volume. So this motor assembly has a power plug that is for 220. So we're going to convert it with this transformer. This comes from Germany. Wrong voltage. So we just plug it in, but you know what, frankly, we're going to leave it unplugged for a few minutes because we don't want to leave these plugged in ever, except when they're being used. These transformers get too hot. So up here, this is the newer wind tunnel. It's whiter. And then here's the older wind tunnel. If you're less than 6'4", it's a good idea to use a stool. Now this is just going to slide together. I lift up the motor slightly to allow the bottom of this housing to slide onto the motor. There we go. Now we're all situated. The bottom here is going to be replaced with a ramp, because the ramp is going to reduce the inside volume, or you could say the cross-sectional area of the wind tunnel. So there's screws, under here. They should have bolts that don't fall out, but sometimes they fall out. So we put these all together, and we're going to come over here and get the angle piece. And install the angle piece. It ramps up towards the motor. Just barely set each of these so that you keep the right alignment. Barely set each screw so that you keep the right alignment, and then you can tighten them up. So there's our ramp with different cross-sectional areas listed here, and it's made in Germany, so there's commas instead of decimals, and the area is measured in meters squared. So that's what all this notation means. This we're going to put back over by the ramp, but I still have a ramp over there, so I'm going to wait until I'm done with both ramps. And then I need this piece, which allows us to correlate the pitot tube with the area. So this just fits right on there, nice and snug. And now the pitot tube can slide in at A and be supposedly above A. That's the idea. And last is the pitot tube. Very, very careful with these. Very expensive. This is glass. We don't want to spill the oil inside. So let me see if I can position the camera. You can see a little bit of this here. So the pitot tube needs to come out this direction freely. And then I'm going to put this under there like that. And so I need to lower the front, the top clamp down. I just changed to this setup recently. That's why I was a little unsure earlier about the size of the clamp, but it looks like this will be just fine. Then I want to put these legs down so that the weight of the stand here is pressing on the base of our meter. So the way this system works, this pitot tube has a hole in the top, and that's the ram pressure in the top, and then there's a hole in the side for the static pressure. And one of those tubes, the ram pressure, goes into here, forcing the oil to climb up the scale. And they simply place the pitot tube inside here. And so I'm going to have to move my whole assembly because this tube was a little bit too tight. So I'm going to put this back on the shelf where the ramp was. At the end of class, I'm going to switch these out again to put them back the way they were, because we'll use it in this orientation for 2 other experiments after we do the Venturi Lab. This is very fragile. Again, you have to be very careful with it. You need to level it properly so that this 0 is reading 0. That is the setup for Venturi.